Life is not measured by the breaths we take, but by the breathtaking moments. And if you'll allow me to just share a few of those moments with you from this past year, um, it was maybe the most memorable year of my years on the city council since 2017. I got to welcome to Cerritos California Attorney General Rob Bonta earlier this year with Mark Polito. I got to welcome to Cerritos the Philippines Consul General Edgar Badapos with Linda and Mark. Some fun things that I got to be a part of is Linda and I got to welcome to the city of Cerritos, to the Sheraton Cerritos, we got to welcome Sima Ati, the Indian matchmaker. Another fun thing, just a short while ago, Linda and I got to welcome Joe Coy, and that was actually in the great city of Artesia. So thank you for letting us come and see Joe Coy. And my mom got to cross that off her bucket list, that she got to meet and talk with and take a photo with Joe Coy. So that meant a lot to me. Once again, like I've been doing every year, I got to welcome the middle school students from Kakamikahara, Japan, who visit our ABC school district and the city of Cerritos every year except for the pandemic. And thank you, Kathy Matsumoto, for always making that happen every year. I was invited to visit the Japanese Consulate General in Los Angeles, and I met with Consul General Kenko Soni, and that's a wonderful connection, because I was honored to be invited and attend the birthday celebration for the Emperor of Japan, hosted at the home of Consul General Kenko Soni. And the reason that this will always be a breathtaking moment for me is because I got to meet a hero of mine. I got to meet George Takei there. And you know him as Sulu from a show you might have heard of called Star Trek. And I got to talk to Mr. Takei about his experiences in the Japanese concentration camps, just like my father and his family were in those concentration camps during World War II. But I also got to have a fun talk with him about the USS Cerritos. You might have heard that in the future, in Star Trek history, in the future, there's going to be a starship called the USS Cerritos, which is going to be the featured ship in the show Star Trek Lower Decks. And George Takei and I had a lot of fun talking about that. Speaking of the USS Cerritos, I was glad to join my colleagues at the red carpet premiere of the documentary about the Cerritos Auto Square. And while we were sitting here in this theater, watching the premiere of that Cerritos Auto Square documentary, I was excited to see that the director listened to my comments during the city council meeting where he presented his ideas about the documentary, and he made it a point to include in the documentary about the Cerritos Auto Square, he included clips of the USS Cerritos. So that is proof that Cerritos is a part of pop culture in America. A year ago, in March of 2023, Linda and our senior assistant city manager, Tori Contreras, and I attended the National League of Cities conference in Washington, D.C. And that's when I was honored to be elected to the leadership of APAMO, Asian Pacific American Municipal Officials, as the secretary. And the National League of Cities has a membership of over 2,725 member cities across the United States. So it's really hard for me to wrap my head around the fact that through APAMO, I'm representing Asian Pacific American elected officials at the local level, cities and towns and villages across the country. And while we were there last year, Linda and I met with our Congress member, Michelle Steele, and we talked to her about the Del Amo Bridge project because we want to widen that to 4 lanes. I also got to meet with Senator Alex Padilla, and I got to talk to him about Cerritos and about our hometown daughter, Secretary of Labor, Julie Sue. And what happened from that is in November at the National League of Cities conference, I was elected president of APAMO. And I've had the honor of being the president of APAMO since this past November. So here we are again, going back to Washington, D.C. just last month. And I got to represent Cerritos as the president of APAMO, Asian Pacific American Municipal Officials. I got to, I was able to meet with Michelle Steele and with Linda Sanchez over there in Washington, D.C. But the moments I will always remember is that Linda and I got to meet with Secretary of Labor, Julie Sue, in a private meeting and talk to her about Cerritos and talk to her about all of our residents. And the number one thing that happened out of that I will never forget is I got to represent Cerritos in meeting with the President of the United States, President Biden. So another thing that was memorable to me this past year is I was honored to be recognized as a 2023 Democrat of the Year by the Los Angeles County Democratic Party, as well as Supervisor Janice Hahn, Assessor Jeff Prang, and Congress Member Adam Schiff. Thank you to my wife and my kids, my parents, Tom and Chit Yokoyama, my sisters and their families for their support of me in my responsibilities of serving as a council member that was elected by the residents of our great city of Cerritos. My wife's dad, my kids, Harabaji, my father-in-law, Jong Sabha, peacefully passed away on March 26, 2024 at Torrance Memorial Medical Center. It was a tough time, but he's not in pain anymore. And what was meaningful and important was that the entire family got to spend a lot of time with him these last couple of months. Thank you to the Cerritos employees and the residents who have reached out to my family and me with prayers and support, as well as Supervisor Janice Hahn for reaching out to me and my family. Thank you for letting me share these breathtaking moments with you from this past year. I'll see all of you at the reception. And as they say in Star Trek Lower Decks, Cerritos strong.